And welcome to the show. Today is June 19th, 2022, and this is the correction video. So a big shout out and thank you to John Brda, who happened to comment on my last video. This is a correction video for MMTLP. For those of you who are unaware, MMTLP is the trading symbol for Metamaterials Torchlight Preferred Shares. We are talking about stocks, we're talking about dividends, we're talking about various financial instruments and the way finances work. Let me start by saying that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. With that said, let's start. So, big shout out to Meta Support Channel, who happened to tweet about a video that I made a few days ago. It is called Some Thoughts on the MOASS, What to Expect. And it had a section on it on MMTLP, where it talked about the Metamaterials Torchlight Preferred Shares. It talks about Metamaterials, talks about Canberra Energy, and GameStop. And John Brda is the former CEO of Torchlight Energy, for those of you who are unaware. And Torchlight Energy merged with Metamaterials, and the Torchlight oil and gas assets were to be spun out into and sold. And the Torchlight Energy shareholders, the previous Torchlight Energy shareholders, received shares of this thing called a Series A Preferred Share. The Series A Preferred Shares would entitle the recipients of that Series A Preferred Share to the proceeds from the sale of the oil and gas assets. They found about 3.2 billion barrels of oil in the Rio Grande Basin and a bunch of natural gas. So it's worth quite a nice little sum there. Anyway, so I made a video and I got some things wrong about it. And so thank you, John Brda, for pointing out what I got wrong. Okay. This is a video that I made. It was called Some Thoughts on the MOASS, Mother of All Short Squeezes, What to Expect, and talked about MMTLP, MMAT, CEI, and GME. Okay. So I will not go over that video in detail, but I will go over what John Brda's tweets are and which section of the video that affects. Okay. So let's start. John Brda says, although this video has a lot to correct, it also has some issues wrong about the divvy. I am not sure the shorts can stay short in this case. We will see. Big smiley face, and it looks like he's very, very happy there. Later on, he tweets, it's been announced that the divvy will be in the form of shares. Therefore, when the S1 is filed and the process for the divvy is described, the path will be set. The shorts will have to deliver a share of OilCo somehow to the folks they borrowed from, if still short. Okay. And they'll have to buy OilCo. It turns out they can't buy Metamaterials to cover. OilCo is a spin-out company and has no remaining assets. It has no remaining relationships with MMAT other than the note. Okay. And the last tweet is, there's a problem on the last day. The problem lies with the shorts, legit or otherwise, and the broker-dealers, that's what BD means, the broker-dealers that allowed it. If it's cheap, like you say, there is a law that states that OilCo must sell shares to cover at that price. If it's cheap, like you say, is there a law that states that OilCo must sell shares to cover at that price? Short answer, no. So OilCo doesn't have to sell any shares at a particular price or anything. They just have to deliver the divvy. And that results in shorts having to deliver something that they don't have access to, right? They won't have access to the OilCo shares. The OilCo shares will be a dividend provided to Metamaterials Torchlight Preferred shareholders. When you're short MMTLP shares, you've borrowed shares from somebody, and you need to provide whatever dividends that those shares would provide back to whoever you borrowed it from. Okay. And quite frankly, they won't have access to it. Okay. So here's a tweet from Kyle to John Brda. He says, when you were researching what went wrong with MMTLP and how to prevent that from happening again, I read that you didn't want OilCo shares to be tradable. and instead it turned out to be it intended it to be a private company on the right track. And he says, you might be onto something there. So, how much will these OilCo shares be worth? Well, it turns out that John Brda says there will be no set price. Why would there be? It will be private until sold to someone else at a price determined then, as it was supposed to be. So they're basically trying to correct the mistake that they made with metamaterials. The mistake that they made, that they made with the Series A preferred shares. The mistake that they made was that they put, I believe they put the word transferable in the document about the shares. And as they became transferable, that allowed them to be traded. So I don't think they're going to put that word in the description of the shares anymore. Anyway, it turns out, here's some words from C-Plant. So somebody looked at what the short interest was in terms of, what is it? This is short interest for metamaterial stock symbol MMAT. Metamaterials will provide the dividend that goes into MMTLP, and that dividend will be the OilCo shares, okay? Then anyway, there's a bunch of short interest on metamaterials. And it says, the good thing about the S1 filing is that it will only give the shorts 10 days to cover. Right, John Brda? This will be fun. I have 5 alerts watching for the filing, and I'm coming with guns blazing. C-Plant is really cool. I believe C-Plant plans to buy a ton of shares of MMTLP, and that will cause the shorts all sorts of consternations. Anyway, John Brda replied, once the SEC is approved, then Meta can give notice to FINRA and OTC. That's the over-the-counter exchange. Likely 15 days notice, but Meta decides, right? 10 days is the minimum required notice, I believe. So that's the thing. There'll be something in the range of 10, maybe 15 days notice. Who knows? The minimum is 10, though. Okay. So those are the tweets that happened, this is the part of the video where I was wrong. So I happen to state that there was an upper bound in price around the dividend price, and could it go higher? Yes, will it? Maybe the payout could be cash settled, $10 to $50 billion problem for shorts. That's what I calculated it would be. But the payout will not be in cash. The payout will be in a dividend. The payout will be in shares of OilCo, and OilCo shares cannot be had anywhere apart from metamaterials, and there will only be 165 million shares, because that is the number of shares that were issued of MMTLP. And if there were any shorts of Torchlight Energy, they owe those MMTLP shares, and if they're still short, they will owe the OilCo shares, and there's no way to pay out those OilCo shares. Okay, there will be no way to pay out the OilCo shares. So it sounds like the shorts will be trapped. Basically, here's the overall summary. The S1 has been filed with the SEC. We know that for a fact now. That means that when the S1 is filed, that means that they intend to do the spin-out, and the SEC will provide comments, and then metamaterials will make adjustments until there are no further comments, and then the S4 is released. That's what's happening with the S1. Okay, that will result. So MMTLP will result in a dividend of OilCo shares. This will be a spin-out of OilCo, and MMTLP will wind up providing a dividend of OilCo shares. Okay, the OilCo shares are only available from metamaterials. That means the shorts must deliver OilCo shares to broker-dealers, right? And those broker-dealers will further deliver it to the longs and whatnot. In either case, it doesn't matter. The shorts need to provide OilCo shares to the broker-dealers. They have to do that, okay? The only possible solution for the shorts to not provide those shares is to close their MMTLP short position before the last day of trading, because this is a problem on the last day of trading, right? That means if you want if you want to close your position, you have to buy MMTLP essentially to avoid that delivery of OilCo, and that's on the last day of trading. To avoid that delivery of OilCo on the last day of trading, which you cannot deliver, you must buy MMTLP, okay? but they may not be able to even do that. Okay, on the last day of trading for MMTLP, the shorts and the broker-dealers for the shorts must deliver OilCo shares to longs. That is a given. And that means that, and Metamaterials will not provide any additional shares for the shorts to deliver to the longs. There will only be 165 million shares. That means that the shorts are trapped. OilCo shares will not be tradable. You will not be able to get OilCo shares from anyone. The shorts are trapped. OilCo shares will not be tradable, okay? As an MMTLP shareholder, I couldn't be happier to be more wrong. Thank you for correcting me, and thank you for providing this update. I am ecstatic about it. It's wonderful, okay? So big thank you and shout out to the Metasport channel on Twitter. Thanks for posting the link to my previous video. Thank you to John Brda for commenting on the video via Twitter. Thanks for telling me I'm wrong and clarifying the OilCo shares and how they were going to be spun out. And thank you to everyone else who told me about the John Brda comment because, hey, I am not keeping track of Twitter all the time, but every now and then I'll keep track of stuff sporadically and I'll get a hold of it. And, hey, I couldn't be happier to be told I'm wrong. Well, the world is better than I thought it was going to be for longs. So big thank you there. Before I end this video, I want to do a big shout out to Pigeon. She also made an MMTLP informational video. She goes over the John Brda tweets. Check it out. Links will be provided. See what her comments are. They're really insightful. They're very good. And big shout out there. Check out that video. Okay, it is really cool. And that is the correction video for MMTLP. And that's the end of my video. Let me end by saying, again, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. I hope this video clarifies and clears up the various questions that people are having with MMTLP. Basically, if you own MMTLP, you will get the OilCo shares. And shorts are screwed. And, that 3.2 billion barrels of oil is going to be worth something spectacular. Price of oil is going up, and it's been going up every single day. The average price of oil has been going up every single day. It's a beautiful thing. I'm not a financial advisor, not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Goodbye.